Hello everyone, how are you doing today? My name is Karina and welcome back to Ready Set Pan. We're doing the fifth declutter video for this channel. Essentially what a declutter video is for me is when I've gathered enough products in my collection, so usually around 5. These are items that are either expired, they have changed in their performance, my preferences have changed for the product, I don't use them, etc. Then we film one of these videos and I let you know why they're leaving my collection. Now, obviously, if the product is expired, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just going to go straight into the garbage. But if I can, I do try to rehome products because you don't just want to throw out products for the sake of throwing out because that's not that helpful for anyone. So I have 5 products here that I'm going to be talking about today. Now, if you haven't checked out my previous declutter, if you're interested in all eyeshadow declutter where I rip apart palettes and I got rid of 22 eyeshadows from 3 palettes, make sure you check that one out. But here we're kind of into my more standard, here are 5 items that are going to be leaving my collection. And the first item we're going to talk about, I'm going to have to throw a picture up so you guys can see it because I actually don't have this item anymore. It's a Bath & Body Works item, surprisingly. This was their White Barn packaging of their Gentle Foaming Hand Soap in Golden Citrus and Vanilla. And the fragrance notes, oh, they sounded so good. They were Sun-Kissed Orange, Autumn Blooms, and Creamy Vanilla. Now, obviously, I don't blind buy anything because I'm too sensitive to certain scents, or I know what I really don't like, so I'm not going to force myself to use something I don't like. But when I smelt it in the store, so good. I was so excited for it. It smelled good when I pulled it to put it into the bathroom because we were going to use it in the main floor bathroom. But the performance of it, there was a significant difference in the scent from smelling it on cold in the bottle to the actual process of using it on the hand. So I don't know if it was the citrus note, I don't know if it was the blooms, the floral note in there, but I just did not like it. My husband wasn't a big fan of it either, and so I opted to return that item. Couldn't find the receipt for it. I know I have it somewhere. I don't know where it went. It completely disappeared. But no problems returning it at all. So that was a fantastic process. So I'm very pleased with that. And that's the first Bath & Body Works item I returned. If I had to use it up, I could have. But you know what? Especially with fun hand soap like the Bath & Body Works ones, I want to enjoy the process of washing my hands and just using what I really enjoy. So if I had to, I would have, but I'm glad that I could just return it and just move on to soaps I'm enjoying so much more. The rest of the items, of course, I do have with me, and let's start off with the one I actually did talk about in my most recent Beauty A to Z update. That, of course, is from Aromatherapy Associates. This is the De-Stress Muscle Gel. This came to me in a BoxyCharm, in just a premium box, and this is the current mark. And that's the current mark of where I got to. So I did use half-ish or so of this item. The problem with this item is I never really figured out how to use it. I didn't notice a difference for easing muscles. It says it has rosemary, black pepper, lavender, and ginger, which none of those are really scents that I was like, yes, I want that. So I wasn't reaching for it on a scent basis. And this only has a 6-month shelf life after opening, which I've had this for at least 1.5 years, I imagine. This has, I'm pretty sure, gone off because when I think of a gel, you know, you kind of have an idea of what that sounds like. This, yeah, it's just liquidy and, you can use it. It's fine, I think, but just mentally knowing that this has probably gone off, it didn't seem to really do anything for me before. I don't want to risk anything bad happening now, so we're just gonna declutter this. And unfortunately, this is going to be an item that's going to have to go into the garbage because I don't think anyone wants to be putting this on themselves. All right, the third item. You've actually seen me talk about this before. I did talk about how this was on the chopping block, but as a little reminder, I did mention I wanted to try using it again this summer because I really did enjoy this product last summer, but now it just doesn't work for me that well. This was featured in This Is Fantasy, and this is from the Beauty Bakery, the Milk and Honey Highlighting Palette. Again, this is a BoxyCharm item, so it's not like I picked this item for myself. And especially highlighting palettes, right? Not everything is going to work for you. And yes, I could try using this as eyeshadows, but these are massive. Like, you'll never get through them, and I have eyeshadow anyway, so yeah. The problem with here, okay, so this first one in Queen Being is obviously too deep for my skin tone. This one in Be Sweet, it is a little bit too deep and definitely comes across more kind of metallic, glittery on the cheeks, as do Oh Honey and Spoiler Alert. They're just that glittery streak rather than what I prefer out of my highlights. So this is kind of unfortunate. I did at least get use out of it. You can see it has been used, but it just doesn't go along with my particular preferences. There's a swatch of them so you can see them here. So starting here, Queen Being, Be Sweet, Oh Honey, and Spoiler Alert. And like, it's very obvious highlighter. So if you enjoy a blingy highlighter, like, these would probably be great for you. But for me, I tried again this summer and just no. And also with it being a highlighting palette, I am getting away from face palettes, I think, honestly, because you can't get use out of absolutely everything, or at least it's much more challenging to get use out of everything. And especially a palette like this where you have to reach into something separate for bronzer and something for blush. It's like, then just use singles. So now, even though my last declutter was all about eyeshadow, I have more eyeshadow that is going, but the difference here is the whole thing is going rather than selecting things from a palette. And the first one is this single here. This is from Annabelle. This is one of their creamy single chrome eyeshadows with 6-hour hold. It's not even going to get you through a work day, in the shade Flashing Lights. Now, it is gorgeous. Now, this did come Christmas, not this last year, but the year before, on Clear Out. Little kit from Annabelle. It had this in it. It had an eyeliner in it. It had a couple other assorted items in there for pretty cheap, so I opted to try it. And as I talked about in my last eyeshadow declutter video, these kind of colors I don't wear a whole lot. I don't do a lot of these very warm reds, oranges, and the formula, like, it's feeling a little bit on the drier side compared to what it used to be. Now, it's still performing decently well there. Like, that's doing pretty well. It doesn't crease too much. And I did think about wanting to, getting some more use on it. Like, you can see there is some use in there, but not much. I thought about putting it into a project for the upcoming fall, but I have so many of these kinds of colors. The formula is changing a little bit, so it's just knowing myself and my preferences. It's gonna go. And the fifth and final item we are going to declutter is actually an entire eyeshadow palette. This one is from Physicians Formula. This is one of their shimmer strips, and that's all I can tell you about it. This came in a Physicians Formula kit. So it had this in there. It had like the rosé mascara and a rosé lip color and a mini butter bronzer. And I think there are a few more items in there. So it's like, great, let's just try a whole bunch because I do like Physicians Formula. But these, they're kind of weak, honestly. There's everything swatched out on the hand there. And you can probably see, like, on this side where I start the swatch, it's pretty decent, and then it kind of fades away pretty quickly. Now, these are basically all toppers, essentially. So they don't stand out very well on their own. You do have to build them up, and they don't last on the lid either. So kind of unfortunate because, pretty. It's just they don't stay, and Like, I've really tried packing them on. You can probably see, especially on like this one here. Like, I've really tried. I also kind of want to hit pan on something. That didn't happen, but I really did try to pack this on, build it up, but it just doesn't perform the way I want them to. And again, I have so many eyeshadows, I'm not going to get through everything. So if this one isn't doing very well, why keep it when you could use stuff that actually does better? So this is another palette that is going to be leaving. But those are the 5 items. So these 4 here, plus the soaps. We have a hand soap, a muscle gel, a single eyeshadow, an eyeshadow palette, and a highlighting palette that are going to be leaving my collection. I will rehome where I can, but you know, it's all about that learning. It's all about figuring out what works for me, what do I enjoy using, what fits with my personal preferences, and what simply doesn't. So that is going to complete today's video. Thank you so much for joining me for this 5th declutter. It'll probably be a little bit until my next declutter because it does take me a while to actually part with stuff. So if you enjoy declutter videos, make sure that you do subscribe so you don't miss the next one, whenever that one may end up being. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video very soon. Have a wonderful day.